How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with another FPL video, and today we're going to be looking at 3 players to target this coming game week and in the potential next few game weeks, as they are, I would say, a couple are lower ownership, one slightly higher, but could be interesting if you bring them into your team, whether it be a pair up for a double up on a team, or it could be just a unique player that not many have considered this FPL season, and they've been doing quite well. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new or haven't done so already. It greatly helps out the channel, as well as turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as they are readily available. Also, give us a follow over on Twitter so you can keep up to date with any and all FPL news, from price changes to injury news and anything in between. And lastly, make sure to give us a follow over on Twitch so you can see when we go live for our preview and deadline streams. We'll be doing another preview stream back on Monday coming game week, as we normally do for the game week 8 preview, as well as a deadline stream on the Saturday as per usual. There'll be a pinned comment down below to give you the full details on that as well. So without further ado, let's talk about our partners for the FPL season with Fantasy Football Scout. So if you haven't heard about Fantasy Football Scout, they have a fantastic members area during the regular season. It's £25 for the membership, and that lasts the entire year. And during the off season, they give a 20% discount. But if you have missed that discount, fear not, you can still get the membership for £25, and it's fantastic. You can see the membership area just behind me. You have a bunch of different stats that you can use, powered by Opta stats, and create your own custom tables. You have the Rate My Team tool, you have the season ticker, player comparison tools, a whole array of things that you can use to help elevate your FPL game. So use the link down in the description below so that you can get access to these exclusive tools to help elevate your FPL game. Sign up now. So the first player that we have on our players to target list is Bukayo Saka, the man on the thumbnail as well. Currently sitting at 6.3 million, and there's been a bit of a resurgence from Arsenal recently. They're going with a 4-2-3-1 system, which basically gives the license of Saka and Smith Rowe and Odegaard and Pepe and Aubameyang and whoever's playing up in that front four the license to kind of express themselves and be a little bit more kind of attack-minded and not really worry too much on the defensive side, although the wide attackers will more than likely have to help out their fullbacks from time to time. And they have that shield in front of the back four, similarly to how kind of United set up with when they play Fred and McTominay. Arsenal will usually play Thomas Partey +1. Usually it's Granit Xhaka, who is actually going to be injured for a long period of time, so they're probably going to have to rely on Lokonga to play in that pivot. But someone like Saka is someone who is often always involved in any Arsenal attack, whether it be the assist of the assister, or the goal scorer. And he's been fantastic on that right-hand side. He was fantastic in the Euros as well from open play. Also, not too bad from, set pieces as well in terms of his actual delivery as well. Although he probably won't be on set pieces as much because that would probably be like the likes of Kieran Tierney and such. And I think that he could be someone that we potentially overlook, which is why I'm bringing him up in this video as a player to target. If we look at his stats on the season, 1 goal, 2 assists. Those have come in the last 4 game weeks where they've had a much easier run than their opening 3 fixtures. Brentford away, first time back in the Premier League or in the top flight division, and I think it was like 75 years or something crazy. And then you played the European champions and the Premier League champions. So the Brentford game, you probably would have thought, Arsenal should have done a little bit better, but they also had some injuries and stuff too. Hadn't got all their signings in either and embedded into the team, which now looks to be favoring in their court, basically. They have the likes of Saka, Smith Rowe, Odegaard playing well, Tomiyasu, Ben White, Gabriel, and Tierney as the back four, with Ramsdale looking much more assured than the likes of Bernd Leno, especially when they're playing out from the back. And this only bodes well for Saka. I mean, if you look in the last 4 game weeks, 1 big chance, 8 chances created, 2 big chances created, 9 shots inside the box. Those are all coming in the last 4 game weeks, and you can see in the first 3 game weeks, he only had 2 chances created and only 1 additional shot inside the box. And he's got all of his returns in those last 4 game weeks, which definitely bodes well for Arsenal when they're playing much weaker opposition. Now, that being said, Arsenal don't seem to be the type of team that's going to score boatloads of goals every week, but it is pretty promising that they were able to put 3 past Spurs in a flurry of counterattacks, which caused Spurs a whole bunch of problems at the back. And it was Saka and Smith Rowe, the two budget players that I'm potentially looking at on a wild card. Saka's a little bit more expensive, but also a little bit more involved, and probably the first name on the team sheet. And the fixtures are definitely good to go with it as well. 3 of the next 4 game weeks at home versus Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, and Watford, and then Leicester away, whose defense has been looking very, very shaky for the start of this season. So Saka, or at least an Arsenal midfielder like Saka or Smith Rowe, should be a potential 4th/5th midfielder in your lineup if you're looking for 4 in midfield or 5 in midfield possibly. They could definitely be some good value, especially over the next good run that Arsenal have. And I think it was only a matter of time before they started to pick it up a little bit. Their players, they hadn't had a consistent lineup. Now they do. They are also not in Europe as well, which means that they're only going to be playing 1 game a week apart from the Carabao and FA Cup, which will help bolster them even further in terms of, fitness, in terms of energy levels. And Saka could be at the forefront of that, and even Smith Rowe as well. But I just think Saka could be slightly more involved, and that price point is quite nice as well. So Saka definitely on one of the players to target list. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of managers going for Chelsea defenders, but maybe they're overlooking a potential double up with this Chelsea defender. And that defender is Cesar Azpilicueta. He's only 6.2% owned. I thought he'd be around Saka's mark, around the 10-11% mark. He's been doing quite well, and he's very versatile, Cesar Azpilicueta, the club captain, as you can see on the graphic as well, holding the armband, going absolutely crazy, because as he normally does, he wears his heart on his sleeve. He'll give 110%. He'll fly into challenges. He'll maraud up and down the touchline. He will get in the box. He gets involved. He gets stuck in. And I think it can't be underestimated how potent a potential Chelsea double-up could be. Now, a lot of managers are looking at Antonio Rudiger or Marcus Alonso, maybe even Ben Chilwell now. But Azpilicueta can play at right wing-back, and he's shown over the last 4 game weeks he can get assists from there. He got 2 in his last game week that he played in game week 7. He got 1 previously in those last 4 game weeks. He's had a big chance as well, which is not something you probably expect from a central defender normally in a back 3. 6 chances created, 3 of which came from assists, and 2 of which were big chances, which resulted in 2 of his 3 assists on the season. He's only had 1 shot inside the box in the last 4, 2 on the season, but he does get involved, and the 6 million price tag might throw people off. But I think that he would be better than the likes of a Mendy, who is going to be similar to Sanchez. Probably either get you 6 points or get you 2 points. He will play out from the back like Sanchez as well, but I think Azpilicueta gets involved on set pieces. If he's playing at right wing back, that's better proposition for him as well. And even potentially a triple up could be on the cards, with Antonio Rudiger, Azpilicueta, and Mendy being the 3 most assured kind of defensive options for Chelsea as well. And if you look at their run of fixtures, I mean, Brentford away, Norwich at home, Newcastle away, Burnley at home. I mean, that just looks like 4 clean sheets, potentially, if Chelsea play the way that they normally play. And a double-up will definitely turn that kind of shield pick in terms of, like, Antonio Rudiger into a sword, as it were. And basically what that means is a shield pick is someone who's going to be fairly highly owned, not really going to gain you much rank rise. So as an example, Trent Alexander-Arnold at the beginning of the season, or Luke Shaw, or Mo Salah if you didn't, if you didn't captain him. But if you pair him up with someone who's a lot lower owned and in the same defense or in the same attack, as an example, so like Ben Rama was at the beginning of the season with Antonio, everyone had Antonio for the most part, but if you paired him up with Ben Rama, Antonio just became a lot more potent because then they can assist each other and that sort of stuff. And Azpilicueta in defense can make that even better. So if Antonio Rudiger gets a clean sheet, Azpilicueta might also get a clean sheet too, and Azpilicueta is very good at collecting bonus points as well because he's very good at creating chances. He's very good at getting involved. His pass completion rate is quite good. He makes a lot of good tackles and clearances and whatnot on set plays and in open play. So I think he might be going underlooked, and I'm potentially looking at a Chelsea double up on my wild card as well between Rudiger and Azpilicueta. I don't want to mess around with any kind of fullback situation. I know that he's going to play most games. Azpilicueta probably 8, maybe 9 out of 10 games. Rudiger's going to be similar, and I just want to go with that and make it quite simple. And if he plays at right wing back, he plays at right wing back. It's going to be great because that means he can get forward and get some potential attacking returns as well. Now, lastly, we do have another potential double up. And it's a different type of blue team. It's for Manchester City. Now, Ruben Diaz was in everyone's team last season alongside potentially John Stones or Cancelo or even Ederson at times, but I think that Ruben Diaz is potentially being overlooked. Not by 28.3% of managers, though, and I think a lot of managers are looking at Man City and saying, this team has kept 5 out of 7 clean sheets so far this season. The only 2 teams they haven't kept a clean sheet to were Liverpool and Spurs, which is somewhat understandable in most cases. And they have a great run of fixtures starting in game week 8 with a couple of bad fixtures versus like United and such in those fixtures, but they have a run of like 15 games or so where they can just go on an absolute tear like they did last season, where I think they were like 20 something unbeaten, keeping clean sheet after clean sheet after clean sheet. And what better way to tap into that by just getting one of their defenders who is literally going to play basically every game. For 6.1 million, I think Diaz could be quite good value. If we look at his offensive stats, he hasn't created any big chances, but he's created some chances, 8 on the season, 4 in the last 4 game weeks, so averaging a chance completed per game week. He's had a couple of shots inside the box, which definitely bodes well for set piece threat. He's already got an assist on the season as well from a knockdown, so he can create from set plays with a knockdown. He can also score from set plays as well. Him and Laporte have been doing quite well. Now Laporte, 5.5 million, slightly less than him, but could be rotated out if John Stones finds form. And it seems like Pep, with that one specific spot, with his left back, and then some players in his front 3, sometimes you just get booted out and you're never seen again. And the other guy is playing week in, week out. Prime example, Ferran Torres scores 2 goals, gets an assist, hasn't played a game since. It's really, really weird on that situation. But with Diaz, you know he's going to play game in, game out. And a double up between him and Cancelo, or even a triple up between him, Cancelo, and Ederson, like the same thing with the Chelsea situation. I mean, just clean sheet after clean sheet after clean sheet. And maybe there's a hope, fingers crossed, that Ederson takes a penalty one game. That would be the FPL dream. Triple clean sheet, Ederson takes a penalty, max bonus points, and a 1-0 win. That would be absolutely insane. And hopefully that does happen at some point. I just want to see Ederson just take a penalty. Like, if they've already won the Premier League and they get a penalty, I just want to see Ederson take one just for fun, basically. But it is definitely something I'm considering in my wildcard as well, and you'll be able to check out the wildcard video as well, because that will be coming out shortly as well, after some technical difficulties during the week as well. So both of those should be coming out over the weekend. And if you are watching it, it's probably out right now, so make sure to go check it out. And I think that I'm heavily considering double Chelsea, double City with Diaz included, Azpilicueta included, with Trent having 5 at the back, and even a potential like strong goalkeeper, so like an Ederson or a Mendy. Just get the teams that are going to keep the most clean sheets, win the most games, and just keep it simple, and then go for the more budget, riskier picks in midfield and up front, which just, it just makes the most sense to me personally. If the team's going to keep 20 clean sheets in a season, why not just get the defenders? Doesn't matter how much they cost. They're keeping 20 clean sheets a season, and they're playing for the best team, arguably, or the European champions, the Premier League champions, whoever it is, either Chelsea or City. So it just seems like a no-brainer to me. So Diaz is definitely one of the players to target on a wildcard or potential transfer, alongside Cancelo, I would say, coming into your teams for the next several game weeks. But let me know in the comments down below what you think of the players I have been looking at targeting, as they're not necessarily the most optimal picks or the most like kind of template picks, but there are ones that could be a double up or interesting to add to your team so that you can get that edge over the FPL managers that are lacking behind, as it were, on transfers as well. And that's going to do it for this edition of Players to Target. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new or haven't done so already. It greatly helps out the channel. And turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. Drop us a follow over on Twitter so that you can keep up to date with any and all FPL news, from injury news to transfer news and anything in between. As well as give us a follow over on Twitch so you can see when we go live for our preview and deadline streams. So there will be a pinned comment down below on on every YouTube video to let you know when those streams are going to be happening. And lastly, use the link in the description below so that you can get access to the Fantasy Football Scout members area. It has a whole array of tools such as the Opta driven stats tables, which are fully customizable, and you can actually share with other members in the Fantasy Football Scout members area so that you can see what tables they're using for their FPL decisions. It's going to help elevate your FPL game. Thank you all for watching, and until the next one, take care.